Have you ever wondered how the top players always get fully stacked by the first 1 to 2 minutes in a match of Pokemon Unite? Look, Chris Heroes, fully stacked. Overlord, fully stacked. Inda on full stacks. Even I get on full stacks here. Stick around to the end because I'm not just covering the typical carrying stacking macro. I'm going to be walking through stacking in the top lane, in the bottom lane, as a jungler, and how you should be prioritizing your stacks against other plays and farm in the lane. First things first, let's consider the Pokemon that you should be stacking with in solo queue and probably shouldn't be stacking with, and categorize them by priority and lane. Okay, let's start with our top lane stackers. Keep it simple. If you're support, Sableye or Clefable, stack when it's possible and support your laning partner. And also, please make sure if you are a physical attacker, you run an attack weight, and if you are a special attacker, you run a stacking specs. Otherwise, let's just follow this guide. With these Pokemon, you want to stack aggressively in the top lane. Time is of the essence. Get small scores, generally no more than 6 points. Use your skills to secure the enemy farm and stack instantly. Use your battle items to escape. An X speed or an eject button is preferable. Make sure you clear yourself from this area by about the 9-minute and 17-second mark. You don't want to be overcommitted when the enemy jungler ganks in that top lane. By this stage, you should have 2 or 3 stacks. Your next opportunity to stack is dependent on the jungling gank. If you win the 850 Arteria exchange and you press the enemies far back into their flux zone, you have the chance to empty your score into the goal zone. Otherwise, don't stack unless it's free. Focus on your farm. The farm spawns exactly 1 minute after it dies, so keep this in mind as this will be dependent on your securing rotation in the second round of farm. The other opportunity for you to stack is at the 8-minute mark, the middle Bs. If both laners go to the middle, you can score. Alternatively, if one of the enemy goes to your side to score and the other enemy goes to the middle, you can stack. They may choose to defend their goal zone, which is annoying, but find the value where it is. Secure the lane farm, or help your team win the 8-minute middle Bs exchange. Now, at this stage, it's about 7:40 or 7:30. There's one of 3 cases that's generally going to be the case. Case number 1, you're fully stacked and you are an absolute beast. Farm, secure, and hard win the top lane. Maintain vision on the other top laners. If they rotate to the bottom lane, so should you. You should aim to be there by the 7-minute mark if you notice the enemy top laner has left. If one of the enemy top laners stay, then you should stay top and beat them 1v1. You've won your top lane, don't let the enemy top laner catch up to you. The second case is you've got about 4 stacks. Stay top, secure the farm, and try to score when it's free. Focus on getting those 6 stacks. Win your lane and maintain vision on the enemy top laner. Mirror their movement. Don't stay top by yourself, but don't let them get ahead by taking all the farm and scoring in top lane for free. If they rotate, you rotate. If they don't rotate, then beat them 1v1 in the top lane. The third case is you're behind. You've got about 2 stacks, the enemies have out-secured you, and you have simply lost your lane. Stay top and pray that you get a free top lane. Pray that all 5 enemies rotate to the bottom lane so you can catch up and do something at the next team fight. Then you rotate down. You pray that your team is going to be playing defensively at that bottom objective. You've lost your lane, there's no point going to the bottom lane, leaving the top lane completely free and continuing to lose. Before we move on to our bottom lane, I'd appreciate a like on this video if you're learning a thing or two, or just enjoying the content as is. Notice there are only 4 Pokemon I recommend to stack with in the bottom lane. All defenders, and all with an Eos cookie. This is to further increase your tankiness. Stack when possible. Don't ever ignore the farm just to get a stack. Consider this an experience difference that you are giving up. Scoring experience is about 10 times the number of points you scored, and Indeedee is about 200 experience. So unless if you're scoring 20 plus points, focus on taking the farm. You are increasing your tankiness with that Eos cookie as a bonus. What helps more tanking against the enemy is making sure you're not behind in levels. So rather than playing from behind, focus on getting that experience, win your bottom lane, and stack when it's free. Typically, you'll have about 3 to 4 stacks by that Rayquaza fight. You'll rarely be fully stacked because it's a bonus. It's not a necessity. And by that Rayquaza fight, if you played this role well, you'll be thick and ready to tank for your team at that fight. Traditionally, I wouldn't recommend stacking as a jungler. However, the scaling of skills creates a strong case for a jungler to get 3 to 4 stacks by that Rayquaza fight. So how do you successfully stack as a jungler such that you can rotate through to your middle area effectively and increase your attack or special attack stat while doing so? Let's talk about it. Firstly, identify the weak enemy lane. This requires an understanding of Pokemon Unite and an understanding of which Pokemon suck early in the game, for example, Rolts, and which Pokemon don't, for example, a Ninetales. If no lanes are weak, then generally go to the top lane, because this will help your top laner get online and potentially get some stacks in. The first opportunity to stack is at that 8-minute 50 Altaria. Be wary of vision. Don't let the enemy scout you, and try to make sure that you can severely push the enemies back onto their pad and into their flux zone by surprising them at this 8-minute 50 mini objective. This allows you and your team to score. KOs are a big bonus because the enemies will drop AOS energy on their death, and they also won't be able to defend the goal zone, so you can get multiple stacks in. The next opportunity is after that 8-minute Bs in the middle. Collapse on a lane by surprise. Recognize when the enemies are overcommitted into a particular lane, either the top lane or the bottom lane, and try to get some KOs on them. Then you can score in their goal zone for free. The other opportunity is generally after a successful objective, in the top lane or in the bottom lane. Generally, it's in the bottom lane. If you're successful and you've won the team fight and you've won the objectives, you'll probably KO a few of the enemy team, if not all of them. You push them back into their flux zone and you will look to break their tier 1 goal zone. At this stage, a successful jungler can be anywhere from 3 stacks to fully stacks. As for stacking throughout the match after the first objective, it's just too complex to go over in one single video, so I won't give the easily misjudged and misguided information. In regards to our spicy stackers, you can stack with them, sure, but when things go wrong or the value isn't as big as you thought, you heard it from me first. So that's it. If you're still here, click on one of these guides on the screen. The YouTube algorithm loves it. Do me a solid. I love you. Go win your games on Unite too. Do it for me, but do it for us. Have the best day ever.